All right, let's go ahead and get Padgett up here, and we'll get going with her. Welcome. I hope everything went well today with the adventure.
Yes, yeah, it's been such a busy day. It's been a busy couple of weeks. And I want to start by apologizing because we've been slammed with orders, thankfully, but I never sent you any dancing ferns so you could do a pairing with the cocktail. I really totally meant to send you some, Michael, so I'm going to make it up to you. A little bit about our cheeses. We are a farmstead creamery, so we produce the milk that we use for our cheeses almost exclusively. In 2020, we started supplementing with some other milk from a nearby dairy farm. But the Dancing Fern, this particular cheese, is one of the cheeses we've been making longer than any of the other cheeses that we've become known for. And we're perhaps most known for Dancing Fern. It's our most award-winning cheese. And to me, it's really the cheese that highlights the quality of the milk and the seasonality of our production the best. And it's a very complex flavor profile, and it rides the line, bitter and sweet, where I find the best comparison to be walnuts and cultured butter, like the bitter of a walnut or the earthiness of a walnut and perhaps shiitake mushroom, like that sort of flavor profile, very earthy. And then a cultured butter that's very sweet, light, creamy. So Dancing Fern in general, as far as pairings go, I tend to go with a white wine or sparkling wine. So I came up with this idea for the cocktail. And again, like Elle, I'm not very experienced with cocktail pairings. I'm way more, kind of a wine pairing person, and beer as well. But with cocktails, I feel a little intimidated. So we happened to have a conversation earlier this summer about pairing liqueur with Dancing Fern for an article that was in Culture Magazine just recently. And our intern at the time, and he's actually a very accomplished cheesemonger, and he's moved on to work with the Bloomy Rind in Nashville. But he was making cheese as an apprentice for 6 months this year with us, Holden Strub, and he's just a fantastic guy with tons of experience and a great palate, a great feel for coming up with good pairings. And his idea for a liqueur with the Dancing Fern was Salaire, or Salaires, which is a very, very old traditional French gentian liqueur aperitif that I had a very, very remote familiarity with before his suggestion to pair it with Dancing Fern. And he happened to have some on hand that he shared, just a few ounces with Nathan and I, so we could taste it. And we were really blown away by how well it paired with Dancing Fern and how it kind of emphasized that balance between sweet and bitter, because the Salaires is definitely very earthy, very bitter, made from gentian root and among other botanicals, which is heavy on the bitter, but this delicate sweetness also comes through. So the first experience I'd had was just the straight Salaires on the rocks. I guess we actually just added a touch of sparkling water. The first tasting that I ever had, and I was really drawn to that and really enjoyed it. And it was nice in the summer too. It was a kind of a seasonal, flavor to me. But for this, I wanted to find something that was more fall, a little bit more earthy and complex for the season. And so I researched different various cocktail recipes and looking for something that incorporated Salaires. And I was drawn to this idea that I found in Food and Wine magazine that features gin. So it's a gin and Salaires and lemon and celery root soda, or celery soda. I assume it's made from celery root, but from Dr. Brown's, it's called Celeray. So that's a soda. It has fresh squeezed lemon juice, And I chose the Castle and Key Autumn Recipe Gin, which was also a recommendation that came to me from a friend that works in a really nice wine and liquor store in Chattanooga nearby. So I had never tasted the Castle and Key Autumn recipe, but it is an excellent gin, really superb gin. So I'm kind of hooked on this combination now. I'm really loving it. The recipe is very, very basic. You have 1 ounce of your gin, 1 ounce of the Celaire's aperitif, and a 1/2 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. And so those all just go right on the rocks into your glass together. And then the final ingredient, the celery soda, I just kind of top it. I estimate that you're going about 2 to 1 here, like maybe 2 ounces of the soda. But again, I mess around with this recipe a little bit and I've been tasting and playing around with it. And I found that too much of the celery soda really masks the flavor of the liquor, particularly the Celaire's, with too much sweetness. So I backed off and I eliminated completely the simple syrup that was in the original recipe. You just don't need that much sweetness, I think, with this particular mix. So I'm just going to give this a good stir. And what I'm looking for that I feel is particularly complementary to the Dancing Fern is that it's bitter, but yet it sort of finishes with a sweetness, which to me is sort of counterintuitive. Like you think you taste the sweet first and then the bitter on the back. But I don't know why it comes across to me the other way around. So you think it's bitter at first and then you sort of finish with sweetness. Oh, and the last little garnish, celery, that goes in the drink. And so just to have a little festive feel to it. And I also am using a local artist here in Chattanooga, a hand-blown glass that I really like to bring out during the holidays. So yeah, so here it is. It's just 1 to 1 on the 2 liquors, a 1/2 ounce of lemon, 2 ounces of celery soda, garnished with a celery stick. Yeah, I think I got that one pretty right. I keep messing around with the ratios, and too much lemon throws it off, too much sugar throws it off. But I think that those quantities, those ratios work really well. And I've got a little Dancing Fern here, just ready to taste. Oh yeah, it's lovely. And also the lemon really is sort of I feel like an element that ties it all together. It's very nice, very light. Again, I think this for the fall is excellent. It's something festive and different. It's light, and I think a lot of times, we kind of go with heavier beverages like, red wine or dark beer. So this is with the polar opposite, but it really works well with the Dancing Fern, and I think it's a nice festive, something bitter, something sweet, and it also has this very vegetal, slightly savory note to it too, with the celery in there. So I really enjoy this a lot, and yeah, so I'm happy with how it turned out. This is probably my 4th or 5th iteration of this recipe. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, that's fun. I don't really think that much about cocktails with vegetables in them, even though that, we do, a tomato-based, drinks and stuff like that. But going with the celery, I think that's really fun. I think a cheese that's got a little bit of herbs in it, even an herb goat cheese or something would be fun as well. Just something light, and that's really unique. When I saw your recipe, I was, thinking about, well, that's a lot of vegetable, but then Bloody Marys are pretty much, can get as crazy as you want as well, So
Yeah.
you could doctor that up with some more vegetables in there, and I think it'd be fine as well too.
Right. Well, this one, yeah, with the Bloody Mary, that's so savory. And, and then you get the spiciness. Lots of people like it hot, which I'm a big Bloody Mary fan for sure. And this one it's so, I don't know, reminds me a little bit of a French 75. It's got that sort of, it's got a bubbly, it's sweet, it's gin, very light. And I just think that kind of beverage with this particular cheese is it's just the best. It brings out the best of both the cheese and the beverage. I don't know what other vegetable I would put in this.
Oh, radishes.
Radishes. Yeah, well, that would add some color too. This is a little like sort of plain Jane, to look at. But it's just got a really nice, just uplifting kind of flavor to it. And
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much. Stick around, and David's coming up next as